In the aftermath of last week's Fairy Circle escapade, the Doctor and Ruby Sunday find themselves as virtual visitors on the moon of Fine Time, a utopia for the privileged white elite's offspring. However, this idyllic bubble is primed to burst in catastrophic fashion, and the moon's inhabitants really need to put down their personal devices and reach out for some industrial strength slug repellent if they want to avoid becoming lunch for something large and slimy. But can they? Let's take a look. Of Fine Time, its residents exist in a perpetual state of vapid social media engrossment, live streams, and mindlessly following the whims of an all-controlling AI overseer. We're introduced to Lindy Pepper Bean, who from the very moment she wakes up in the morning, robotically gestures through the start of another day of online posturing, until the Doctor breaches her feed with dire warnings of ravenous flesh-eating invertebrates. Despite the Time Lord's guidance, these technology-addicted youths prove to be completely ill-equipped to cope with life outside of their social media bubble, as colossal, nightmarish slugs lay waste to their world. Survival requires these kids to break free of their technology addictions long enough to save themselves. And not only are most of them not up to the task, but some of them actually refuse to do so. Only Lindy narrowly escapes, but her survival is a bitter one, as she ends up betraying an ally who had gone out of their way to help her. Her ensuing real-world meeting with the Doctor and Ruby lays bare the harsh truth. These pampered brats were just simply not worth saving in the end. This is no happy ending this time. The Doctor is left in a state of shock and simply can do nothing but leave them to their fates, closing the TARDIS door as the end credits roll. Russell T Davies pulls no punches in condemning social media's corrosive impact on society. This is actually a story that he's had brewing away in the back of his mind for the last 10 years, something that him and Stephen Moffat were going to do together as part of the 11th Doctor's era, but has only just now sort of come to fruition, mainly because they've got the budget to realise the vision that they had for this. Fine Time's inhabitants are so pathetically enslaved by their AI puppet master that even basic motor functions elude them without digital instructions. Now, this might have been played for laughs, but we've all seen videos of people driving their cars into rivers, or yes, walking into lampposts, because they were all relying on their sat-navs. They were all looking at their phones rather than actually paying attention to where they were going. This is a chilling cautionary tale about the perils of unchecked technology. But you have to admit that once the Free Time residents revealed their true nature, you could argue that the AI had a point. The narrative also doesn't flinch from searing socio-political commentary. In a powerful exchange, the script overtly addresses on screen for the first time that, hey, the Doctor's not a white guy this time, underscoring just how blind hatred and sheer stupidity will doom Fine Time's residents. Offered refuge above the TARDIS, they arrogantly rebuff the Doctor's aid, sealing their likely doom in the hostile wilderness outside the city. Lindy even looks back and gives the Doctor a final, chilling, smug look as she vindictively sailed off to what is certain death, utterly convinced until the very end of her so-called moral superiority in rejecting the Doctor's offer of help purely because of the colour of his skin. And when you go back and watch the episode again, some of the things that she says to him, like accusing him of being responsible for the slugs or saying that he'll be disciplined, that just hits with a harder punch when you watch it the second time round, when you find out what she's actually meaning, what she's actually referring to. Gatwa put on an amazing performance here, with the Doctor's initially incredulous, then angry and frustrated reaction to their rejection. He pours everything into that one moment, and that moment will become one of the most defining scenes of his portrayal of the character. Despite how these people are, these awful, horrible people, he still wants to save them. He is literally begging these people to let him save them, because he's the Doctor, and the Doctor saves people. But this time, the people do not want to be saved by him, And you just know that these pampered posers, they're not going to last 5 minutes out there. They are not going to be able to cope with life outside of this bubble. And to be honest, I actually found myself rooting for the slugs on more than one occasion. Now, speaking of performances, Callie Cook is amazing in this. Even though Lindy is a thoroughly, dreadfully awful character, you are actually completely invested in her until the very end. At one point, when she tells Ricky that that was her first hug, you do start to feel for her a bit, and maybe, just maybe, she'll come out of this scenario as a better person at the other end. It also echoes what Eric from the Space Babies episode said about being hugged for the first time as well. And if you remember, Donna Noble was a thoroughly unlikable person to begin with, you know, only bothered about gossip magazines and which celebrities done this and which celebrities done that, until she met the Doctor, and it just opened up her eyes to this whole new amazing world. And then when the Doctor had to wipe her memory, she went back to being how she was before. Everything that she'd learned, all those experiences got wiped from her mind. You think, is the same thing going to happen to Lindy here? But no, absolutely not. It makes her betrayal of Ricky hit so much harder. It's like, you've come so far, you've experienced so much, how could you now just turn around and do that? And Ricky, oh bless him, Ricky, he was a great character. He was shown, even though he was one of the most sort of influential, well, influencers as part of this bubble, like being a singer and what have you, he was shown to have actually closed his bubble on a daily basis and educated himself with books, gone out and explored the town, actually been places. He's got an education, he has that knowledge, so that he hasn't become so narrow-minded. He's compassionate, he's got leadership skills, and this is what makes it so more tragic when he ends up copping it, all because of Lindy basically throwing him under the bus. Had Ricky survived, I feel that he would have also have made the decision to not go with the Doctor, but not because of the same reasons as the others. I felt that if he would have chosen to have gone with the Doctor, his influence would have made a lot of other people decide, yes, we'll follow Ricky, we'll go with the Doctor. Had Ricky survived and decided to not go with the Doctor, again, it would be for not of the same reasons of the others. I feel that he would have stayed for the sense of adventure, for the sense of exploring the great unknown, now free from the social norms that he had been previously bound to. And I also feel that he would have stayed because, quite frankly, the others needed him, especially Lindy, to survive out there. Again, Ricky showing that he's got genuine compassion, natural leadership skills, and everyone else would have stood a better chance of surviving had Lindy not thrown him under the bus like she did. He was so badly done to in this episode. Of course, there is another Susan Twist appearance, this time as Lindy's mum, and this time both the Doctor and Ruby recognise her from the characters that she was in previous episodes. So yes, this is definitely leading to something. But it does feel that the world building around Fine Time's oversight could have used some additional refinement in the script. I mean, who exactly runs this planet? Why were the Doctor and Ruby unable to land the TARDIS on Fine Time at first, but then could do so later on? How did they even come across this situation in the first place? There is also the issue where the Doctor is once again having extremely limited screen time. Yes folks, this is yet another Doctor-lite episode, which is very puzzling because this is now 2 episodes in a row where we've had this, and also because we're this deep into Gatwa's tenure. I am loving what I'm seeing so far of this Doctor, but it feels like we haven't really learnt a lot about him so far, and we're already remarkably close to the season finale. Dawn Bubble is a brutal exploration of society's most toxic undercurrents, and although the AI overlords and their oversized slugs may have been the physical threat, it was actually humanity's worst impulses that proved to be the real monster of the week this time. Anyway, next time, it looks like the Doctor and Ruby have stumbled onto the set of Bridgerton, with the addition of some weird transforming avian humanoids. Okay, as you do. Anyway, if you have enjoyed this video, then please do take the time to leave a like and a comment. Please also consider sharing this video across your social media, in particular with anything related to Doctor Who and classic sci-fi in general, although let's be honest, if this episode has actually put you off social media entirely, then I can't say I blame you. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so yet, and do activate the notification bell to stay updated on new uploads. But for now, thank you very much for stopping by the Big Daddy D Reviews channel, and we'll catch you again next time.